the Vintage Computer Festival Midwest 2025. I went there on Saturday. My personal focus is photography. I make videos on that, doing POV style photography. So I went there with the goal of taking pictures, but still, I really do enjoy computing equipment and all the related stuff. I love seeing all of the old computers, older phone equipment, and everything else that they have at the event. This is a free event that's awesome. Obviously, donations are great. You can buy their merch, do the auction. I don't know a ton about that because I don't tend to stay there a really long amount of time. It is now located at the Schaumburg Convention Center. It was at a previous location. I did see the older location once back in 2022, which was my first time attending this event. However, I also went in 2024 and saw the new location, and now, of course, in 2025, the new location. There is a lot of parking around, but still it's very, very busy and sometimes difficult to get a parking spot. I lucked out. I didn't spend too much time getting a spot, but yeah, there tends to be a mix of other events going on at the same time, which makes it a bit difficult considering how popular VCF Midwest is now. There is so much to see in the main event area. They do have panels and such, but like I said, I don't personally know a ton about that and haven't gone to any of those. Obviously, this is my tech channel, so I'm going to try to go more into technology rather than the photography. My main focus was walking around taking photos. I used a Sony A7S camera, which is 12 megapixel. It's a little bit older. Thought it would be a fun combination, and I used two different lenses. I'll show a few of the photos, but mostly just the GoPro footage that I had on my backpack doing POV style video. This year, I didn't talk to many of the people hanging out at the event. Sadly, it was very busy, so I was just trying to walk around and do my thing. I did talk to a few people. One specifically was LGR's brother, Luke. He does photography as well, so I talked to him a little bit, but I don't have any footage of that, sadly. Never seen that thing. Portfolio? Oh.
You actually probably have and don't know it if you've seen the movie Terminator 2.
Okay.
John hacks the ATM using one of those.
That's cool.
I guess we're going to have to sneak it. I thought there was another Ireland photo.
Thanks.
Yep.
I guess it's just a big...
So there were quite a few of the well-known tech YouTubers, usually more focused on the retro side of things. Very cool to see, but I didn't catch any of them specifically at the event, so I don't know how busy it was once they got there. Those are cute. Yeah.
Gotta keep your mouth warm.
Yeah. For this video, just to give you as much footage as possible, I need something to talk about, and I'll talk about my own personal history with computing. First computer that I used was a Commodore 64. It was a hand-me-down from friends of the family, and at the point, it was relatively old, but I tried to use it as much as I could. Did some basic programming. However, I never figured out how to save to disk my own programs, so I didn't get super far with that. Still, it's a core memory that I have using that computer. And then, of course, playing games on it, all of the classics. Centipede, I think, was one. Dig Dug, Pac-Man, stuff like that. Obviously, the Commodore 64 is very represented at this event. There's a lot of different variants of it. There's new versions that are emulated. There's repackaged cases, painted cases. I saw some of the accessories that I had personally used, such as the keyboard that was placed on top of the C64. And then, obviously, with the related software, you could play music. My next computer was a Pentium 166 MMX Toshiba Infinia. I didn't see any of those at the event. I don't have mine that I had at one point, sadly. But yeah, there's so much to look at. One of the great things about this event is that you can try a lot of the computers, go there, do some gaming. They had a large LAN area to do classic gaming, Quake, Unreal tournaments, Doom. I saw a lot of computers and devices with Doom on it. But even so, you could just go check out a lot of older computers that were in terminal mode, and you can just type out things. There were a lot of options with drawing computers that I took a lot of photos of what people were drawing on them. Very cool to see. There were a bunch of computers and other devices set up throughout the event where it was filming the person standing in front of it, so I got some self-portraits of those. That was great. They had a full phone system throughout the event space, so if you did want to talk to people, call people throughout that area, you could, and it looked very cool. above all of the tables, looking at the wire connections and other devices that they needed to make it work. There was a lot for sale as well. If you're into retro computing or you want to get into it, an event like this is a great option to find something that's functional, probably been tested, or maybe it's not tested, who knows. But you'll tend to find a lot of stuff to get started. A large tower of Commodore disk drives was one of the fun photo opportunities that I noticed. If you love chatting with people that are into this type of stuff, it's also a great option. Sadly, I didn't talk to too many people this year, but yeah, I think if you want to learn a lot, there's a lot of people to talk to, but also there are a lot of informational displays. Great information just to hang out, check it out, read it, learn about older computers, learn about terminal computers, things that, like I said, we generally wouldn't have had access to as normal people or people not in a specific field at the time, like the weather computers or those really large mainframes, things like that. A lot of very unique and odd devices that, yeah, like what is this? What does it do?
Think of a number that you guys
Parallel port here, and 2 serial ports here. The parallel port is a DB25 female connector. It is Centronics compatible, which is the industry standard for printers. This is where your customers would plug in their 9815 laser printer, Sears model number 32450. The serial ports are RS-232C.
One note, if you're into photography, you need to really consider shutter speeds with CRT screens. You're gonna have to use lower shutter speeds to get more visible in the photos. I'm not really sure how smartphones would work in these situations. They might be able to compensate for that automatically. But if you're using a dedicated camera, you're gonna wanna use lower shutter speeds and then probably use some sort of stabilization in the lens and or sensor to make it work better. Other options at the event, they had a soldering station. I don't know the details of how it works, but it's cool to see a bunch of people learning how to solder at the event, trying things out. So a lot of great educational options for this. Bring your kids, help them learn and grow in technology. If you're into gaming, there are still a lot of things to see and try out. Older console systems that you, again, probably never had any access to. You could actually play a few games on them. New games that are made for older systems, things that you can buy related to all of the console gaming and such. So there is a fair bit of representation for gaming, but I would say it's more on the computing side of things and all of the unique aspects of that.
How's it going? Oh, nice. Was this used for like actual work?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that's cool.
From what most of the accounts, it's like geological oil finding survey or CAD engineering design.
That's cool.
Model analysis. There's a lot of like biological applications.
Okay.
So someone actually was here that worked in a lab where they would use these. The scientists would take slices of cells, make a 3D model, and then render it, and then scientists would science it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
We got it. Feel free to try out if you like. So this moves between the different modes.
Okay.
And then each of these buttons has a different set of functions for the model scene.
Nice.
For some more advanced ones, I'm working on a synth that's not quite there. I've been trying to do bass. It's kind of more of an annoying sound than anything really good. But and then this tree growth is what I'm working on. But it uses the space colonization tree growth function, which is I think a very realistic way. But it's so computationally intensive that I have to guardrail it. And then it induces some delays. And then it kills it.
It's all good. Very cool. There you go. Nice. Thanks.
Yeah.
The person that made replacement circuit boards and such for the Chuck E. Cheese animatronic systems, he was there. I didn't talk to him this year, but I was able to last year. A lot of really interesting information. So it was cool to see him back at the event. There are a fair number of robots and such, so if you're into that side of things, you could at least see a little bit here and there. Obviously, most of the robots will be older and more of a historic representation rather than anything current, but still very cool to see. I think one of them had sonar, one of them was supposed to be for home use, but clearly 50 years later and we still don't have too many robots for the home. Maybe ones to vacuum and do a few other things, but nothing really general use that is easily accessible. I love walking around the event space and seeing a bunch of very unique things, little tiny details here and there that, oh wow, this old Garfield phone.
That's cool.
Attracts so much attention.
Yeah, that's really cute.
This plushie that they randomly place here, a bunch of old snacks and things that relate to the era of the computers that they're showing. So many little details, so many little things to check out. I really do enjoy attending VCF Midwest. If you're in the area for the next one, definitely check it out. Hope you enjoyed the video. Scott of Tech, I suppose. See ya.